So guys, Eubank, I've seen a video posted that, you know, he's smashing the pads, looking very good, and looking like he's ready. Thing is with Eubank, I think Eubank's got to show us that he's more than a pad fighter now. And what I mean by that, Eubank looks amazing on the pads. If you look at Eubank on the pads, you'd probably think this guy's an elite level world champion. He's that good on the pads. But what we found out about Chris Eubank, someone good on the pads doesn't mean they're a world class or world elite fighter. And I think Eubank's shown that. Eubank, there's probably no one in the world better on the pads than Chris Eubank Jr. But when it comes to actually getting in the ring and be able to translate that into a performance against a guy that, not a punching bag, against a guy that's actually moving, giving you angles, got a lot more obviously dimensions to his game. You know, Chris Eubank's been found out. He got found out against Billy Joe Saunders, and he got found out against George Groves. I think when you stand in front of Chris Eubank, you're playing in his hands, you know, because he's kind of like a warrior, brave. He throws a lot of punches. As soon as you start moving and start boxing him and start giving him angles, Eubank doesn't know what to do. He starts to look very reckless and very wild, and he comes across as a very amateurish fighter. He comes across somebody that doesn't know what he's doing inside that ring. When you start giving him those angles and start boxing him, he looks very bad. He looks very, very bad. And, you know, hopefully moving forward, Eubank can, you know, improve, because he has got ability in the sense that he's very fit. He's tough. He can take a punch, so he's got the ingredients of being a good fighter. But he's technically very deficient, and he's got to improve those aspects, or even sharpen them up a little bit and become a bit more ring smart in order to compete with these elite level guys. Because, you know, he's never going to be the most skilled or most slick fighter out there, but he doesn't have to be. He just has to improve his game a little bit, so he's not, you know, going into the ring and just looking for wild swings when those guys are boxing and moving. Because every world champion or elite level fighter can box, you know. So it's just a mismatch when you go inside a ring with somebody that can box, that can fight, you know, and you're just kind of a slugger, likes to stand and trade with the guys. But not every fighter is going to do that. Not every fighter is going to stand there and just have a trade up with you. That just isn't how boxing works. You know, you've got to be able to box. You've got to be able to do a lot of things inside that ring, not just go in there and slug it out like Eubank and say you're a tough man and you're going to be a lot tougher than the other guy. Because to me, Chris Eubank's a lot tougher than George Groves. But George Groves made quite easy work of him, you know, because George Groves used his boxing ability. Eubank didn't know what to do. He was confused. George Groves used his size, used his reach, used all the advantages he's had, and made Eubank look quite silly at times. You know, Eubank was swinging and wild, and, you know, he wasn't landing. And a lot of people thought that could be the outcome. But a lot of people brought up into Eubank's hype. They thought Eubank is something else. And, you know, after seeing that Ewbank performance, they thought he was going to blast George Groves away. But George Groves just used his experience, used his size, used his boxing intelligence to just completely outbox Eubank. And Eubank in that fight, at times, he looked very, very bad. He looked very amateurish, very, very bad in that fight. He didn't look very good at all. He looked like a guy that was fighting off the street at times. You know, just swinging wild punches. There wasn't a lot of boxing skill there at all. So Eubank's got to translate his pads work into the ring now, because I think people have kind of got fed up of him smashing up the pads and looking good on the pads. It's about time he goes in the ring and translate that against a top-level fighter. And he's got an opportunity against a De Gale, probably a De Gale that's sliding. So a De Gale that's not at his best. So he's got his opportunity, because people still think De Gale's an elite-level fighter. So if Eubank can get the win over him, that would definitely put him in a great position moving forward. I'm not saying he would have cracked it. He still have to fight top-level guys, but it would definitely be a step in the right direction. But he's got to prove it right now in his next fight, because otherwise, I think if he loses this one, I think he loses a lot of credibility, and I don't know where he goes from there, if I'm honest. But leave your thoughts, guys. Let me know what you think, and guys, remember to please like, share, and subscribe to my channel. I'll see you guys in the next video.